Thanks, Janie. So, next slide. So when it comes to website monitoring, there's many different types available, of which each have their own strengths, weaknesses, and blind spots. All of these need to be considered when putting together your monitoring strategy so you have the most coverage. Next slide. So to start with, we have Uptime. Uptime checking provides the fastest way to discover problems with DNS, networking, and servers responsible for hosting your website. They're lightweight, so can be run at a high frequency, and in RapidSpike can be run from global regions in a round-robin configuration. Uptime monitors can also be extended to content check the response HTML. However, they won't fully render the website and check each of its component parts properly, and can't check if business logic is operational or what real user data might look like. Next slide. So next we have performance monitoring. So our browser-based performance monitors can go one step further than Uptime by actually rendering a web page in a real browser. This enables us to record many more data points and metrics, from Web Vitals scores and Google Lighthouse audits through to full network waterfalls and element trend data. These are heavier monitors, so therefore cost more to run than Uptime. Generally, they're used for gathering performance data at a slower sampling rate, say hourly or daily, from concise regions. We have good regional coverage, but due to the reduced test speed, shouldn't be relied upon for downtime detection. And similarly to Uptime, performance monitors also can't check if business logic is working or what real user data looks like. Next slide. So with real user monitoring, like many monitoring solutions, we provide the option to track your real user data. The data is anonymized, but gives you the ability to augment performance and visitor data by device type, browser, country, and the actual page visited. Real-time alerts on comparative percentage changes enable users to react quickly to potential problems their users are experiencing, but are unlikely to pick up on downtime as quickly as Uptime can. So this monitoring also does not provide detailed regional alerting and should not be used for round-the-clock usability testing, as it relies on your user traffic for its data, which is not always guaranteed. Next slide. So finally, we have our synthetic user journeys. When designed correctly and with a large budget, synthetic user journey monitoring can provide the greatest monitoring coverage. It utilizes industry standard software to automate real browsers to interact with your websites like a real user would. Synthetics enable you to test the usability of your website's actual business logic, whilst recording performance data and providing some security checks along the way. We have global regional coverage, so with the right journey design strategy, it can provide fast monitoring speeds and downtime detection. But for most, this isn't feasible due to budget constraints. So next slide. So our recommendation would be to start with lots of Uptime monitoring. This is your bread and butter. It gives you the best regional coverage and the fastest downtime detection speed. Combine this with some infrequent performance and Google Lighthouse checks on your key pages, things like your homepage, product listings, product pages, landing pages that you're running SEO to, things like that. And then add our real user monitoring snippet to keep track of user data and ensure your traffic is not affected by any performance issues. Then overlay everything with synthetic user journeys that mystery shop at your website, even when customers aren't doing. Next slide. So this would be a typical request that we might get from an e-commerce website owner. They want to test everything all the time. But this script will take a long time to write. It touches many parts of the website and will require in-depth knowledge and a lot of care to maintain. So this journey is hitting the homepage, it's going through a new user registration, it's then going through searching for a product, adding it to the basket, then going through the whole checkout process and submitting payment details. This journey will produce 12 results an hour, which is 288 results per day. And that's expensive. If the customer has users in the UK and EU, for example, they might be tempted to run the journey in 2 regions, which would immediately double the cost. So how can we make this cheaper, but also better? Next slide. We would normalize things as best we can. So here we've normalized the journey into 5 smaller journeys that can be run at different frequencies. So we've got a new user registration running daily, product search every 3 hours, direct add to basket once an hour, so that's going to a product directly and checking that it can be put in a basket, and then an existing user login every 15 minutes, and then a slightly more concise version of the previous slide, which would just add an item to the basket and check the checkout process. So this strategy produces around 20% less results, so it would be cheaper to run, but with greater coverage. It would also give the customer the flexibility to run these journeys from different regions at no extra cost. Finally, these are more atomic, so easier to maintain, debug, and understand, which is better for everyone. Combine all of this, like I said, with some fast uptime checking on core pages, and the end result is not far off the original request, but at a much lower cost and higher quality. So we've been doing this a while now, and we've got quite a few actions that cover off most scenarios. If there's anything that you can't manage to do through the actions provided, then we're always up for adding new ones or tweaking existing ones. But 2 that we've kind of been working on recently are the generate item and API call actions. So the first of these would be used for dynamically creating data for use around your scripts. So, for example, consider a journey that searches for the availability of something between 2 dates, say hotels or holidays, something like that. If you hard code those dates into the script, that they will eventually pass and your tests will start to fail. So this action gives you the ability to dynamically create the dates to use on every test and nudge them forward by an amount of time, such as +3 months or +7 days. You could even go back in time if you wanted. This action could also be used to generate random text and numbers according to a pattern, unique email addresses to help evade validation on new user registration, and passwords that match your password policy. We also have an action called API call that gives you the option to make background API requests during tests. So this has been useful for requesting one-time passwords that would normally have been delivered to real users via SMS or email, and for running post-test cleanup to cancel open orders from the target website's backend systems. We've even used it to elevate a test session's privileges in order to simulate a working payment gateway, but with dummy card details. So usually you have to combine it with a bit of work in the target website systems, but it can be pretty useful. Next slide. So as you can see, we have a lot of options and capabilities here. We're always happy to help new people get set up and existing people review their monitoring strategy. So just reach out to your account manager or to our customer success team via live chat or our support email address. Thank you.